On this day in New York sports history, October 26, 2000, the New York Yankees cement a part of their legacy by securing their third World Series in a row. Being down 2-1, the Yanks gained momentum thanks to future captain Derek Jeter.
That's well into the left field by Taya. Up by Yanni, back. It's a 2-2 game. Derek Jeter's gone deep again.
The Yankees would advance to beat the Mets 4-2 in Game 5 at Shea Stadium to the delight of Yankee fans everywhere.
Watson gets into one to center. Back is Brian Williams. A three-pitch. Yankees. For the third time in a row, fourth time in 5 years, and 26th time in franchise history, they are the world champions.
With this New York sports moment, I'm Anthony Payero. We're back from the break. Once again, I'm Anthony Payero. This is the Power Play. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as mentioned before the break, we're going to get right into the latest news. We have spring game number 29 today. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 29 games so far. The Yankees are playing at the Braves camp with the lineup looking as it is. Brett Garner's batting first. Behind him, we've got Ronald Torreyes, who's made quite the name for himself at the camp this year. They didn't think he'd make the main roster, but it's looking like he's going to be a utility player coming off the bench for the Yankees in April. And hopefully the guy can manage to stay on the roster throughout the season. We'll come back to him in a second. We've got Aaron Hicks batting third. Dustin Ackley's batting fourth at first. Austin Romine's coming in at fifth at the DH spot. Carlos Corporan is the catcher. Pete Cosma, shortstop. Cesar Puello, right field. And Donovan Solano is coming in at ninth as a second baseman. With Ivan Nova on the mound, who's got a 5.50 ERA this spring. After him, we've got Michael Bourne for the Braves, who've been pretty decent. They're not having the greatest spring, but they're going to be lousy this year. I'm going to be honest. The Braves are not going to be that good. But you know what? They're fighting, and it's a long season. Baseball's a long season, so we'll see what they can do with this young team, an aging team. They got a couple of key guys here who can lead the clubhouse. But we've got Michael Bourne batting first at center field. Nick Markakis second at right. Freddie Freeman third. The first baseman's coming in at third. A.J. Pierzynski, veterans, the catcher, coming in at fourth. Tyler Moore's out in left field. He'll be batting fifth. Kelly Johnson, second baseman, batting sixth. Rio Ruiz, the third baseman, seventh. Jace Peterson, shortstop, eighth. And we've got Julio Teheran, who will be starting in the lineup at number 9, who's 1-1 with a 2.60 ERA this spring. The game's not being televised, but it's a 1 o'clock start. So that game's been underway for a while. And again, the assumption is that CC will be the 5th starter no matter what happens, according to Chad Jennings at the Lowhood blog. But Ivan Nova is at least trying to make that decision a little more difficult. Ronald Torreyes has made the opening day roster as a utility man. It makes sense that he's getting a turn at third. Again, that's a position. They're not going to put A-Rod there. A-Rod's cemented at the DH spot. So it'd be interesting to see if Ronald Torreyes gets any playing time as the season moves forward. And Cesar Puello's getting a start, who's made a good impression, and he's a right-handed outfield option that is necessary to have, especially with an aging outfield that we have, especially with Beltran in the mix. So it's interesting to see what that team's looking like. And if I can get an update here. It's been 2 scoreless innings for Nova so far, with 1 strikeout, a hit. But does that mean anything? Is that going to get him into the rotation? We don't know. And he found himself in a little of trouble in the third after giving up a single and a sacrifice bunt and a walk. So Ivan Nova's not been the same since he had that surgery. He had the Tommy John last season. And he's not been the same guy, or 2 seasons yet. And he's not been the same. And they're having some trouble trusting him and relying on his arm. And I personally don't think that New York is the right place for him right now. They should probably put him in the minors, put him in AAA ball, see how well he pitches there. Maybe bring him up in midsummer, maybe June, July, or maybe save him till after the All Star break, really. But I don't think he's good enough to come up to the main roster just yet. And they shouldn't take any chances. If his arm's not at 100%, they shouldn't risk that, is what I think. Let's move forward. So yeah, Austin Romine is coming in at the DH, and Ronald Torres, who's the third baseman. And nobody thought these guys would make a name for themselves, but they did. Nobody thought they'd go as far as they've gone. But they've been standout players for the Yankees this spring training. And Brian Cashman said he will keep an eye on available alternatives as the season moves forward. So hopefully they like what they see in these young guys, and they decide to give them an option to break out. Girardi says, I think we have all the answers here. It doesn't preclude opportunities presenting themselves between now and opening day, but it would come from right here now, or from here right now. So Girardi's confident in the young guys, and it's good to see that. As long as they're getting support from the GM and the coach, they're in good standing. I'd like to see them come in. We've seen a couple of RBI hits from Ronald Torres this spring. One coming against the Philadelphia Phillies. He's been a pretty good guy for the Yankees, and I'm interested to see what happens with him. And the Yankees will announce the rotation. No rotation has been announced just yet, or we don't know who's getting the start on opening day. It's not Masahiro Tanaka just yet. We don't know that, and we don't know if CC's going to be in the rotation or at all. And if he is going to be in it, he's going to be the fifth starter. So I guess they're going to wait till after game time to release that information. And they've sent down 3 relievers to the minor leagues. Yankees have 4 pitchers competing for 2 spots in the bullpen. And Kirby Yates is scheduled to pitch this afternoon. Hopefully he has a good outing so they can bring him up and give him one of those spots. Also pitching out of the bullpen today is Brian Mitchell, who seems to be in line to play the Adam Warren role. That'd be interesting to see. I think he's a starter that we currently have going into our pen, according to Cashman. So it's interesting to see what's going on with the pitchers here. Luis Cessa is throwing aside today. So is Chasen Shreve, who a lot of Yankee fans grieve about. No pun intended. But he's not a fan favorite. But they seem to see something in him. So if he's going to have a better season this year than he did last year, I say bring him up and give him a spot. But it's good to have them all compete. And Rob Refsnyder is playing third base in the minor league camp. Again, the Yankees could use the first month to give him playing time down there, boost his numbers, and then bring him up as an off-the-bench guy. And hopefully next year, Refsnyder could find himself in the opening day lineup for the New York Yankees, but it's too soon for his time. It's not his time yet. Patience is a virtue, and he'll be there next year, hopefully Refsnyder. The Yankees have Parmalee off the bench, Eddie Rodriguez, Vicente Conde, Billy Fleming, Jake Skoll, Dustin Fowler, and Juan Silva. So they're keeping the opening day guys. They're going to keep them off the bench, give them a little rest. We want to have these guys at 100% on Monday against the Astros. And they got to get on to a good start, the Yankees do. They don't have a great opening day record, but they got to get out there with a great start and see what we can do, because this will set the precedent for the rest of the season. I believe that this is a very important series for them, and we'll see what happens moving forward with this team. Excited to see what happens with the Yankees. Tomorrow they're going to have a lot of the guys out. Starlin Castro will be playing. Didi's playing. Jacoby Ellsbury will be out there playing. And a couple of minor league hitters who are still getting some spotlight. So we'll see what happens with that team. And when we come back from the next break, we're going to go on a short break here. We'll talk about Brian Mitchell. We'll talk a little more about this bullpen, Ivan Nova and his struggles. And again, see if we can get another update on the current games that the Yankees are playing at the Braves camp. This is Anthony Piero. This is the Power Play. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be right back.